Hey Daily Dosers, my name's Austin. I'm one of the high school pastors over here on the Vista campus. And today I really want to just let you in on a little something I feel like God is teaching me. So I'm going to pretend there's a mirror behind the camera. And if you want to just listen in on my processing, what I feel like God is showing me, demonstrating to me, just challenging me with through his word, it's in Exodus chapter 34. And the life of Moses is, for whatever reason, God has just been using this in my life to challenge me, to remind me. And so I just want to read you a little bit from Exodus 34, Exodus 33 and 34, where God is having this interaction with Moses that I absolutely love. And it says this in Exodus 33, verse 13. Moses is speaking to God, and he says, "If you're pleased with me, teach me your ways so that I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people." Now, pause right there, right? At this point in the story, Moses and God and the nation of Israel have been through a lot. We're talking Egypt and the plagues and leaving Egypt and then the Red Sea. And there's this moment where the nation of Israel has left slavery and they're celebrating. And then all of a sudden, the Red Sea on one side, the Egyptian army behind them. And they're like, "Really, Moses? Did you just bring us out here so that we could die in the wilderness instead of in Egypt?" And then God comes through and Moses splits the Red Sea and they walk through on dry land and they celebrate. And then the story starts getting complicated, right? And here we find Moses and God on a mountainside having this interaction, and it's epic. And God replies. He says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Which, can we just talk about, like, sometimes when we read the Bible, we're like, Moses said, then God replied, and we're like, yeah, for sure. But that's bananas, right? Like the fact that Moses can speak and say, "Your presence needs to go with me." And then God replies. Like, they have this relationship that I look at, and in a lot of ways I envy. I'm like, man, I wish I had that kind of relationship and that confidence and the ability to speak to God and for him to reply. And then Moses says this. God says, "My presence will go with you." And then Moses replies, "If your presence does not go with us, don't even send us from here. How will anyone know that you're pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all other nations on the face of the earth?" And God replies again, "I will do the very thing you asked, because I'm pleased with you and I know you by name." And then Moses doubles down and has the audacity to say this. He says, "Now show me your glory. Show me your presence." And God replies, "I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." But then he says, get this, "You cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live." So epic, right? Like, this is the God that we pray to. And so often, my prayers are like, "Hey, God, thank you for this meal and the hands that provided it. Would you bless the food in my body?" Yada, 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 right? Like, I grew up in a Christian household. I know how to say the prayers. I don't think I pray to this God enough. "No one will see my face and live." And Moses and God have this epic conversation on a mountainside. And then God tucks him away in the cleft of a rock and he passes by him. And then he's going to go on to proclaim his name in Exodus 34, the Lord, which the fact that God has a name even is nuts. But I look at this and I'm like, man, I don't feel like me and God are ever going to get there. Right? And it's not unless I flip all the way back to Exodus chapter 3 in this story that I find some relatability here. And that's what I love about the Bible, is that Moses is not this epic character that has this epic relationship with God. Moses is broken. By the time he meets God, he's 80 years old. Right? He commits murder at 40 years old, spends another 40 years out in the desert wandering, and then at 80, God will give him a burning bush. And God will invite him in. And when he sees that Moses leans in, he's going to go, "Moses, I have a purpose for your life." And then do you know, and then in Exodus chapter 3 and Exodus chapter 4, 7 times, go back and read it today. 7 times Moses will say, "Choose someone else, not me. I don't talk too good. What if they don't believe me?" He just has all these excuses and he has all these reasons why not him. And so I juxtapose Exodus 33 Moses with Exodus 3 Moses and goes, I think I can get there someday if I just daily walk, daily lean in, take the invitation of a God that says, "No one may see me and live, and yet I choose to be in relationship with you." Man, what a God, what a story. I love this book. I love this story. I love this man. Would we learn from him today? Thanks, Dosers. We'll see you tomorrow.